Good morning, guys. Today we are going to look at different types of sentences. So, is it a complete sentence, a run-on sentence, or a sentence fragment? A complete sentence is a complete thought, and that includes your subject, so your who or your what. It includes your verb, which is your action. So, what did the subject do? And then an object. So, for example, if you look at this first sentence here, we have Claire walks her dog. So we have a subject, Claire. She's our who or our what. And then what did Claire do? She walks. That's your verb, your action. And then who did she walk? Her dog. So the dog is the object. So you have your subject, your verb, and your object. Claire walks her dog. And then we're going to look at a run-on sentence. A run-on sentence is more than one complete thought, and there's no punctuation, so no periods or commas or exclamation marks or question marks. And it just goes on and on and on. Okay, so a lot of times when you're reading these, you run out of breath because there's no punctuation to tell you to pause. So if we look at this run-on sentence here, Claire walks her dog every day and then goes to the park for a run and then goes home and makes breakfast and then feeds her dog. Oh my goodness. So I ran out of breath when I was reading that because there was no punctuation. There were lots of complete thoughts. If we look at this run-on sentence, Claire walks her dog every day. That's one complete thought. Then she goes to the park for a run. There's another complete thought. And then she goes home and makes breakfast and then feeds her dog. And there's another complete thought. So we have 3 complete thoughts where we could have added periods in there so that we would have known to pause and not run out of breath. And then the last type of sentence we're going to look at is a sentence fragment. And this is an incomplete thought. It's usually pieces of a sentence, and you're missing either that subject or verb or object. So if we look here, we have Claire walks. So we have a subject, our who or our what, that's Claire. And we have our verb, walks. But who does she walk? Or where is she walking? So it's an incomplete thought. We need to add more to that. Okay, so that is your 3 types of sentences that we're going to be looking at today. So a complete sentence, which is a complete thought, a run-on sentence goes on and on and on, and then your sentence fragment is missing information. It's not a complete thought. Okay, and so whenever you click on your Google form, you're going to identify the different types of sentences. So is it a complete sentence, a run-on sentence, or a sentence fragment? Okay, and make sure that you type your name in this box right here. Okay, and so the first sentence says, the Sons of Liberty organized a propaganda effort to put the blame for the deaths on the shoulders of the British soldiers and make it look like the colonists had no part in the blame, so the colonists would want to rise up and fight against the British so that they could be free. Whew, I ran out of breath reading that sentence. It was so long, and there were several complete thoughts in there. So is this a complete sentence, a run-on sentence, or a sentence fragment? So you're going to click your answer. And if you need to pause the video at any time, you can do that. The next sentence says, massacre in King Street. What about the massacre in King Street? What happened there? What is that? Did they complete their thought? So is this a complete sentence, a run-on sentence, or a sentence fragment? And then the last sentence down here says, the Boston Massacre was just one of the events that led to the American Revolutionary War. So I have my subject, the Boston Massacre, and what happened or what's the verb or the action? It led. And what did it lead to? The American Revolutionary War. So I have my subject, my verb, and my object. So is this a complete sentence, a run-on sentence, or a sentence fragment? Click your answer and then turn in your form.